Welcome to the first ever 44 Hype podcast. We're more than honored to have Val, aka the Shoe Game, on our first ever podcast. Val, can you just quickly introduce yourself? Let the camera know, let them know who you really are.
Yeah, what's up, Frankie? By the way, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Val. I'm actually the owner of and the founder of the Shoe Game Co. So I'm super excited to be here with you today, bro.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. I know a lot of people, know you as the Shoe Game Co. So I guess to kick things off, really, how did this all come about? What was the idea behind the Shoe Game, and how did this all really start? Because I know you used to be an insurance broker.
Right.
So how did the transition happen, or what motivated you to start reselling?
Yeah, that's really funny you said that. Honestly, as I think about that question, I really think that it translated from ideas of a few people, because
Yep.
you had me trying to kind of find my way, if I was going to stay in insurance or not, and finding something that was more, I guess, made sense with who I was, but I could also incorporate all the things I learned there. And then also my girlfriend was like, hey, didn't you tell me that you used to sell shoes or something when you were little? And I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I want to do that anymore, And then my sister being like, yo, I think you can do that. And I actually had a friend who I started with who was kind of spitting out ideas about the Instagram and doing all this stuff. Because at the time, I was reselling on fucking OfferUp or sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But yeah, on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace. And
Gotcha.
And I had a buddy that was like, yo, let's get this on IG. And so it kind of just started, snowballing from ideas from people that I love and care about.
Gotcha.
And then it came to be what it is now, which we didn't expect it to be at all. But once we realized that, you can make money in this, and we're just like, hey, maybe if we go full forth, we can do something.
Most definitely. And so kind of piggybacking on that, so you said that you had this idea, right, with your friend, but did this come a direct transition after high school, or after high school you started doing the insurance stuff a couple years and then you started reselling, or did you already kind of have that transition right after high school, or how did that happen?
So I actually knew about reselling when I was in high school, but we didn't have GOAT at the time, there was no marketplace. It was just whatever the fuck you said.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I was in insurance for a few years, and it came after high school. I actually worked for two different insurance firms. So between high school and then when I turned 24, I was still kind of figuring things out in the insurance world, and then I started reselling. Okay. So now I'm 25. We've been reselling for a year and a half.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you said you worked for two different firms in the. So I guess that kind of shows the work ethic.
Yeah.
Right, because it's not easy to do one, but then two.
Right, and honestly, we door to door. So I learned how to sell.
Yeah, that's a struggle right there.
Yeah. So they taught, honestly, a lot of who I am now is just teachings of that, and it's really weird when you realize everybody's business is kind of the same as far as the foundation of things, but of course it's all different. So I took a lot of the stuff I learned in sales and how to run an insurance firm and doing all the things I did, and my CEO was amazing, honestly. So all those things have helped me build the Shoe Game. If I don't have that, I feel you see a lot of people that are just reselling to they think they're building a business, but really it's a hobby, not to
I get you.
And I'm not trying to take any jabs at anybody, but it's just you can tell they don't really know how to build a business, whereas I was fortunate enough to come from somewhere where I learned how to build a firm,
to have a foundation.
Exactly, which now I just translate into the Shoe Game.
You know? So with it being door to door, you have to know people skills, how to sell product. Do you think you ever had any road bumps? Because it's very unmotivating. I remember when I was younger, I did I sold products, and it was kind of unmotivating when you're hitting door to door, you're not getting sales. It can kind of become unmotivating.
Bro,
did you ever hit any road bumps where you're like, this, I'm
dude,
done with it?
Every month you got an area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember they put me in Rosenberg to sell life insurance door to door. And I was like, damn, this is tough, Also just who answers the door anymore? That was my first company. My second company, we didn't door knock, But I was like, who the, so it was a lot of me also just being negative and being nobody's, we're Latin, bro. We don't open the door when somebody knocks. I don't care who it is, you know?
100%, 100%,
Yeah, so,
100%.
like, we're in Rosenberg. Like, nobody wants
100%.
insurance from the door. They don't believe you. So it was tough to, like, stay motivated for sure. But, like, also you saw the success stories, which, like, if you think about the shoe world, like, you see 2J and you see these people, like, culture kings and stuff that are making things shake. And, like,
exactly.
Like, bro, it's not just like a lot of people think it's just like a little reselling thing. Like, yo,
No.
2J's not just like doing a little resale thing. Like, that's $1 million business, you know, a multi-million-dollar business, really. So I would look at people like that in the insurance world. It's also one of the wealthiest industries to be a part of. So, like, I wasn't dumb, but I also was like, I don't know if this is for me. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And I think with, especially with the reselling world, looking at it on an outside view, it can seem very simple, right? You get a shoe, you sell it for higher than what you got it for. That's what the hopes is, right? Profit.
Right.
But then there's so much more, I'd say, backstory or more work behind the scenes
that people don't realize.
People don't see it. You know,
right.
it looks very simple, but then you got to worry about how you're going to price it. What is market looking like? What could I sell it for? Because there is a market. But the end of the day,
there's a real market.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you know what that shoe is moving for. And I think that's the hardest part. Because sometimes I have people hit me up, hey, you trying to buy the shoe?
And it is below market.
Exactly.
And when you're new, you don't even realize, like, bro, it's not just market. It's just like, is this even relevant?
Yeah.
Like, do people even wear 3s? Do people even want 1s? Like, you know, it just because it's like a $330 lowest ask right now or lowest on GOAT used, whatever it is, like, is anybody really buying a Jordan 4 wheat?
Like, no, that's exactly my point. Because people go based off of market. But that's the most difficult thing that I learned in regards to the reselling world is everything has a market, but you can't base every shoe off of that. And I think that's one of the bigger things where some people struggle, but it's just a process, you know? So as far as learning market and understanding how to price your shoes, did you have to take L's?
Bro,
before you started figuring out your rhythm?
You know, it's funny. This guy that I work with right now on Whatnot, his name's Gabe. Yep. And he always says, Val, that's not an L, it's a lesson. And he's like, I know that's corny, and it is corny, like saying it out loud. But like, it's true, bro. Like, of course, I had thousands, Frankie, of like just shoes that I was like, holy crap, like I'm never going to sell this. Like, I legitimately just like paid over like what it's even worth, and no one's here to bail me out of that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So like, and those things and losing that money and like having to understand, you know, that like it's not the end of the world to cut your losses is like it was a really hard transition for the shoe game. And we had a month-long period of just like me beating myself up because I was like, right as there was a dip, I had these white Oreos and these University 4s and all these fucking 4s because I was known for being the 4s girl, right? Yeah. And I was scared to branch out into bricks and like branch out into like different things, even girls I was scared to touch, right? So I got all these 4s that I paid market for or over market, really, in the sense that like I couldn't move. And that was a really hard lesson for me to understand. And then I would try to hold on, whereas like, bro, just cut your losses and move on and go invest that into something you can move, you know? So like, it really is just like a learning curve, Frankie. And like, unfortunately, no one's going to bail you out of it. And like, no one's going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just figuring it out and taking that leap and not being scared.
And like, I give all credit because the first time we ever did business, you know, obviously you're not as big as you are now. I think maybe you had 2K followers, 3K followers, somewhere around there.
We were small, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't that big. And I know 4s were a big thing for you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we see this transition where it's like, bricks, Jordan 1 lows, Jordan 6s. Like, you just start buying everything and anything.
Right.
What did you start exploring a bigger market? Did you start noticing you start bringing in different customers?
So, you know, it's funny, and I always just like try to give credit where it's due because like, and this all goes back to like understanding that you have to ask questions.
Exactly.
And when I was going through that period of time where like I was stuck, sort of say, like, you know, and my income wasn't growing and like I wasn't learning and I have all these 4s and I'm just like, I'm in my comfort zone, you know, like I know I have to go do something out of my comfort zone to grow again. And I meet this guy named Austin, and he owns a storefront in Baytown, right? And I go out there and I decide I'm going to consign, and I just kind of start watching and learning and growing and kind of shadowing while I'm consigning, you know, so it's a double whammy. Like, I'm selling my shoes for more because I'm in a storefront. I've never consigned before in my life. And I have this guy that I look up to at the time, you know, and he's really, really teaching me. And like, I'm watching him buy like fucking mids. And I'm like, bro, why'd you buy that? Dead ass. Like, I remember the times where I would be like, yo, why'd you buy that? He'd be like, what do you mean? This is where the money's at. And I'm like, bro, how? And he'd be like, watch, I'm gonna sell it right now. And he dead ass would have people like basically line up to go buy this shoe. And I would start looking at market, Frankie, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a market for this, right? So the right like connections and just like asking questions and watching, like, bro, I watched, you know, Rare Kicks on YouTube. Like, you know, I watched what's his name? Damn, I'm blanking on his name.
Heavenly?
Heavenly's different because I don't really buy DS that much. So for me, like, I watch Heavenly because I love like the way that he explains. Yeah,
the energy. Yeah,
the way he explains things is amazing. But I try to watch people that buy used because I buy used.
Gotcha.
I don't know how I'm blanking on him, but he's like the cash out king. He drives Isaiah King, duh.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I watch Isaiah King and I'll be like, holy fuck, Isaiah King buys phone posits. I don't buy phone posits. There's a market there of $50 shoes that at one point were a thing. And then you've got this marketplace of like eBay where there's real sneakerheads, not just like the hype on IG. So all those things like translated from me asking the right questions and meeting the right people and not being afraid to be like, yo, you know, I'm at a storefront and I'm like, Austin, honestly, I don't buy this. And he's like, well, that's your first problem, is like, you're not open. You're not learning. You're not like, you know, you don't want to go and try these different things. And so I had to hear that, accept it, and like really internalize it and say like, yo, I'm on a mission right now to like relearn what I learned. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I now like can buy everything, you know?
That shows a true character though, because in the resale world, I feel like there's a lot of hard-headed people. You know, they're not willing to learn. They're stuck in their way. This is it. This is the only way. But you really have to be open to different resellers, their experiences, because some people have been in the business for longer than you have. So
right,
that's something that I'm always willing to take in. You know, someone comes up to me and says,
I can tell. Just so you know, my favorite thing about you is your coachability and like willingness to like be like, yo, I'm like, my shit stinks. Like, I gotta learn. Like, I'm just, you know, I'm just trying. I always said I loved your humbleness. Like, when I met you, I said that I thought that you were going to be really, really big. From the moment that I met you, I was like, oh, he's not like every reseller I meet, you know? Gav said that about me when I first met Gav, you know? So, like, and that goes a long way. And also just, like, you know, you recognize each other when, like, you're open. So that's something about you that I love, just so you know.
I appreciate that. And just so the camera knows, the way that me and the shoe game, the connection came about, I hit her up, trying to cash her out. She didn't know who the hell I was. Yeah. Didn't get a response, so I spammed her phone. I was like, I'm trying to lock in this deal. I think it was what, like 10 Yeezys?
Yeah, it was like, bro, it had to have been like, thank you so much. It had to have been like $2,600 worth of stuff. And I got this weird kid, you know, with like 200 followers. And he's like, yo, I'm trying to buy this. And I'm like, well, you better send me money because I don't know you. Like, and I know he was scared because like, yo, you about to sell a random like $2,600. But like, I respect him for like being about his money. He drove an hour to come get this deal after he paid for it, you know, like he wasn't entitled. He was like, yo, let me pay this price. Let me grab this connection and let me go all the way, which was something I did when I started. Yeah. That you got a lot of kids right now. And like, again, it's not a shop, but it's just like the truth. Like, yo, you got these kids that like, they don't want to negotiate. They think they know everything, and then on top of it, you got to go pick it up. Like, motherfucker. Yeah, no. I'm not picking that. Like, what? There's an exchange.
Understanding the situation, right? Like, they're cashing you out. At least make the drive.
Bro, so. I used to drop off to Gav when I started. Like, bro, and you're making pennies on the dollar, and then you got to fill the tank and go drop it. I was like,
you're not making shit. By the time you pay that gas, you're not making nothing.
You're negative, right? Yeah. But it was a connection, you know?
Exactly.
Like, and I say all this to just like say like, bro, sometimes it's just like literally I never understood why they said connections over money. I understand it now more than ever, because you'd be surprised, Frank, like how many people you're going to meet along the way that are just like going to lift you up and like eventually it's going to be like, yo, I got you. I'm in your corner. Like me and you now. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
You were buying from me. Now I buy from you, and like you hook it up and like it's vice just versa. An exchange, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, I think connections, not just the reselling world, but the business world in general, they're huge. Obviously, right now I'm taking some courses at U of H. But you'll go in there and you'll be surprised. You find people in those classes that have zero connections. They don't know where they're going.
Right.
And it's crazy to see it because it's like you're in the 4,000 level courses. You're about to graduate and you have zero connections.
Exactly.
I think that's scarier than anything else because if you don't have any connections, you don't have direction.
You don't have anything.
You don't have direction. You don't know who to lean on.
Your network is your net worth.
Yep.
Straight the
Oh, 100%.
Like I learned that, Frankie, like to like take the shot back at people, like some people just don't have like anybody in their corner telling them that. And so like as for me, like bro, my CEO instilled that in me. He'd be like, wow, you like connection, whoever you're surrounding yourself, that's your net worth. So like I picked all those things up in insurance. I don't know where the fuck you picked it up from because you were very smart, but a lot of people don't have that, Frankie, or like a lot of people don't have like, my dad is like, I get my hard work from my dad, but my dad's also a Latin man, like, you know what I'm saying? And so like I picked things up from my girlfriend's a lot about equity and equality. So I learned that from her, because I'm just like, you could see from my character, I'm just like, yo, like, we're going to keep it pushing. Like, whoever wants to be here wants to be here. But also she has taught me to slow down and like include everybody. And then you got, like I meet you and I learn things from you. And so it's all just like picking up and like, again, being open.
And as far as being open, it'll lead me on to my next question for you. What do you think's the true drive, the true motivation that keeps you going? Because a day in the life of the Shoe Game Co., I can only imagine, right? How hectic it can be. What motivates you? What really drives you? Because everyone has their own motivation. Everyone has their own things that this is what's pushing me. This is what's driving me. Things in the past that's happened to me.
Right.
People, friends, this drives me. But what drives you overall? Like you could sit there and it's 12 midnight. You're sitting there. Do I really want to do this? Do I really not? But then you continue and you push it. There's some of those days where you just got to push yourself. But what drives you or what motivates you to say, I got to go harder?
Frankie, that's a tough one because, like, obviously, like, anybody, like, I got my family, right? We're immigrants of Colombia. I was born in Colombia. I did my growing up in New York. After 9/11, we moved here, right? My dad's a car auction. He works in the car auction world. So, like, my dad knows hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad he's not corporate. Like, he just grinds and hustles every day like you and I. He buys a car for profit, right? So, a lot of that is, like, I want to be like, yo, my family's important to me. Like, us having like the things that we've never had is important to me, right? The American dream is important to me, but also on the flip side, like selfishly, bro, I just want to be that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of me that just like wants to walk in a room and wants respect. Like no, there's not a number attached to this. There's not like, don't get me wrong. Like I want to be so rich. I have fucking options. And that's just like, and some people don't like to hear that. And like, there's controversy around just like being like, yo, I want to be rich, but like having money buys me options. Like options to go to the best hospitals, the best schools, everything, you know what I'm saying? And I want that option, but also just like, bro, I want the respect in the room. Like, I want to be that aunt, like that. I want to be that partner. Like when I walk into my suegro's house, like I want them to be like, yo, my daughter's good because she's with Val and Val's like holding it down. You know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of it is just like respect. Like I want respect on my name. I know when I walk in the room, like I'm respected. Like, and I want to take that to a whole nother level.
I get you. And with it being, the Shoe Game Co., I even see sometimes when you post those screenshots on your Instagram, it's like, thanks, bro. Thank you for hooking it up. I think some people don't even know that you're a woman.
Yeah.
I think the majority don't think. I didn't even know you were a woman at the beginning. I was like, wait, what?
And a lot of that, Frankie, is like, there's weird people out there, like, and I'm just being straight, like, transparent with you. Like, I'm Latin, I'm a woman, and I'm gay. Like, bro, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I try to keep, I've let my face and my personality come out more this last year. Yeah. Because, like, also you want to do business with a brand that you, like, know. Like, 100%. You get to know Val. Like, now you really want to work with Val. But, like, right now, like if you look at my page, it's just shoes and like you don't get to, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So a lot of me was like, okay, I gotta let that out. I gotta let that story out. They gotta meet my dad. They gotta meet my sister. They gotta know about us. But like there was a time, Frankie, when like I was scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was like, people are weird. There's like unfortunately just a lot of people like robbing and stealing and taking advantage, and like I wanted to protect that side of like I'm a woman as long as I could, and I feel like I did a good job. And now it's like obviously like I can go on live every night, like people are seeing me, the whole world knows who I am.
That's fire.
But with that comes a lot of like weird shit. Like you'd be surprised at how many messages like people can't say, you call me what you want, but you can't call me broke. So people will message me and they'll be like, yo, you this and that and the third, attacking like that I'm gay, or attacking that I'm a woman, or, you know, and like that was my like fear. But now I feel like we've gotten strong as a team and as a company and as like a group where it could be like, you know what, fuck that. There's always gonna be haters.
That ties down to respect. It's like, now you're at a point where you gotta gotta respect the hustle, you gotta respect the grind, you gotta respect the brand, the Shoe Game Co. And I really like how you've been able to bring out your sister, your girlfriend, your dad, because it does open up
like a family thing, you know?
It makes it feel so comfortable. Like when I go and cash out, or when you cash out and your dad's there, your sister's there, it just feels like a family. That's really what it feels like. Personally, bringing my brother into this as well, you know, I think that's something that I've learned as well. Like seeing you guys, it's like I have to involve my brother, his friend who helps us out, Renee. Shout out Renee, gets all the shoes, right? Yeah. But bringing them about, people like that. Shout out to
brother who holds it down. Yeah, goes to school full time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a big shout out. Big shout out. He hustles, he grinds. I fully respect him for that. And there's never a day where I'm doubting, you know, doubting his capabilities. He's that dude. He's only a sophomore in high school. People don't even realize that. They're like, wait, what? He's in high school? Yeah, he's in high school. My brother's in high school. But shout out to him. I think it's a big part of being able to involve people. Because a lot of resellers don't want to throw shots or don't want to make it seem like it's on certain people. It's just generally some resellers make it about themselves. Right. And I think that's the most difficult thing, is to realize you need to collaborate. You need to go out there and explore, show them that you can. It
takes a village. Yeah. It takes a village to build something great, you know? So that's tough, you know, for a lot of people. But I agree with you. Like, also you have to understand that on the back end, like, you're teaching your brother a lot about hustling and being an entrepreneur and going out there and building a brand, you know, straight from like 0 to IG to where you guys are now, right? To building a clientele. Like, bro, sales is important. If you ever watch Gary Vee, he always talks about, like, if you can learn to flip something for a profit, like, you have the best skill set in the world. And a lot of people don't understand it, right? And so, like, you bringing that to your brother, like, that's super important. You don't realize how much, like, beneficial that is. And you're right. Like, a lot of people, like, and I don't even think it's like shots. Like, I think it's important, and I think the right reseller is going to listen to this and say, like, yo, let me take this, let me change this, and watch how explosive their growth can be. If you just, like, sometimes I hear that I don't want to hear, and I'm like, fuck, that's hard to take, right? Yeah. Especially because I got a big ass ego. You could tell I got a big ego. So sometimes, but like, I'm coachable enough to be like, I don't know everything. Actually, I don't know nothing. That's what I used to say all the time. I'd be like, I don't know nothing. I just resell shoes. And I say that because I remind myself, like, yo, don't listen to all this noise about, oh, you're this, you're that. Oh, cash out queen. Oh, this and that. Like, bro, I don't want to hear that. All I know is I'm broke. I want to be a millionaire. And like, I got to learn and grind and hustle. Like, that's it.
Every day you're learning. Every day you're learning.
So I always just like close that out, and I take shit like this. Like, I'll re-listen to this later when I'm having a bad time and be like, yo, that's really who you are. Go back to those roots, right? 100%. So maybe the right person to listen to you right now and be like, man, and they might have like a fire ass brother, or like I have my sister, and they'd be like, yo, let me recruit this guy. And they're, you know what I mean? Like, all those little things that they pick up, that will blow you up if you listen to it.
Yeah, no, I think listening to podcasts, watching those interviews, really brings it brings so much insight to not just your business, but the real world. Like, what can you do with this insight? Because there's people that have already done it. A big person for me is Mark Cuban.
Wow, interesting.
I watch him all the time. I listen to his interviews all the time. Love that. He doesn't have to do anything with reselling, right? But the information that he throws out there in terms of the business world, it's like he knows how to reach an audience, and he knows how to keep his momentum going. Like, he doesn't stop. It doesn't matter, like you said, right? Blocking out the haters, blocking out the noise, blocking out the comments. He just continues. So some days I'm like, man, I really didn't do what I wanted to do today. It didn't quite get there, but you know what? We restart tomorrow and we continue on. Right. That's kind of how I drive myself, because I think if I hold myself like too accountable and say, man, this is on me, and you just kind of repeat that, it drags you down. It holds you back.
Yeah, totally. Being too hard on yourself. Too hard on yourself. I love that. And I love that you watch somebody like outside of the sneaker world, because that person for me is like Gary Vee, right? Or Patrick Bet-David. And I also like, I'll watch, like I said, some resellers too. So there's like, and I love watching 2J's. I love 2J's, like back in the day when he would have those backpacks full of money and just like go cash out for a store. Like, that to me is like all that process and learning and growth, you know what I mean? But also, like you said, like, yo, if you don't feed your mind and you don't stand guard at the door of your minds, like, everything pushes you down or everything pisses you off. Like, you lose a connection, or you fuck up with a client, or you lose your temper. Like, bro, brands take years and years to build and seconds to break down. You know what I mean? And someone's always like, especially when you're growing fast at the rate that you're growing at, people are always looking for a way to tear something down. So you just have to like stay like grounded in your mind and say like, yo, like sometimes my girlfriend will literally be like, you're not reading. And I'm like, and that pisses me off, but I'm like, you're right, I'm not reading, and that's why I'm frustrated, because I'm not like, you know, I'm not ahead of these things that are happening because I'm not taking the time to feed my mind. So I couldn't agree with you more on that, Frankie.
Oh, yeah. Understanding that, being able to intake that, knowing that it can help you with your future is huge. And so I guess now we can kind of transition to sneakers, right? Like the foundation of it, you obviously you have the drip, always fresh new pair of kicks, always buying for the toe. But what would you say is in your top 5? Let's make it easier. Top 3. What would you say is your top 3? You know, Dunks are hot right now. I know the Travises are very hot right now as well. But what would you say is your top 3?
So like, you know, it's funny, Frankie. Like we've had a lot of growth in the last like 90 days, where I can finally be like, bro, like I'm not gonna front with you, and people are gonna laugh when they hear this because they know they do the same. So nobody better call me out on it. But like, bro, I'll buy a 6, I'll tow it for like a week, and I'll let it go. Like, bro, 2J, when I first like talked to 2J like a year ago, bro, he was like, I was wearing Off-White 5s, and he's like, you don't have the money to be wearing those. Like, he straight called me out, and he's like, let the shoes pay for the shoes and stop fucking keeping shit. You like can't afford to keep shit. And I was like, damn, that was tough. But like, I was like, I'm not going to keep nothing no more. So I would wear it for like a week, 2 weeks, and then I would let it go because I like, bro, that's $300 just sitting there.
But it's like an asset. A shoe's like an asset. It's like a car.
It's totally an asset. It's like 100%.
It's a car. You can buy a car and sell it.
When you're working on cash and all you have is the money in your pocket, you can't afford to hold a $300 shoe in your closet, even if it is an asset. Because how many times could I flip that $300 and made it 7, 9, 10? You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So it wasn't until the last 90 days where I was finally like, yo, we're making enough money for me to put this away for a rainy day. So I look at it now, like you said, as a reseller, bro, I don't even buy pants that I can't resell, just so you know. I'm crazy. I will look at market. I'll be like, if I'm buying, I'd rather spend the $300 on a gallery, you know, tee or whatever, before I spend, you know, $50 at Zara or whatever, because I can't resell that.
100%.
If I buy this gallery department tee, like, we good, right? So it wasn't until the last 90 days where I've been like, let me grow my shoe collection. Actually, a few days ago, which is really funny because I haven't even posted it, because again, like posting things, you have to be careful. Like if I post this, I've had somebody be like, yo, like a package got lost. And at the time, like when you start, like, bro, if a package gets lost, it can't be on me. You know what I'm saying? You're not buying through my website, like you're sending Zelle, right? So, and everybody has that policy where it's like, we can't control the post office, but we can do our best. If you don't buy insurance, it's on you. And somebody was like, yo, I see you dripped out all the time. Like, that's Frank. They're like, I see you dripped out all the time. I see you traveling with your girl all the time. I don't have the money to lose these 200, but you do. Excuse me. I work for my money.
Oh, God.
Nobody deserves this more than I do, right? That's how I feel. Like I hustle and I grind. So I didn't post it, but I bought LV trainers at the LV store. I walk in.
Flex.
Okay. I walk in. I've literally told no one except for you. This is the first time that anybody's hearing about it. My girl was with me. The only person that knows is my girl and a buddy that I texted. That I was like, yo, I finally did a thing for myself. I walk in and I'm like, and you know, I'm still a reseller, so I pull up StockX.
Oh, for sure.
I'm like, I walk in, I'm like, yo, you got any trainers in a 6 men? He's like, I have one. It's a 4. Try a 4 something, 4 year. I don't know what it was. He's like, try this on. And I'm like, it fits like a glove. Fuck, right? So I pull it up on StockX and I'm like, what UK size is this? Because if it's a 5 UK, it's a more rare size. The difference between the 5 UK and any other size was like $600.
Oh, wow.
There's only 3 available. And he's like, I don't tell him, but in my head, I'm like, if it's not a 5 UK, I'm leaving. I'm walking out the door. I'm like, he's like, I don't know what UK size it is. I'm like, go ask somebody that knows right now. He comes back, he's like, it's a 5 UK. I'm like, all right, pack it up. So I spent like $14.50 on it. But like, bro, we spend that on mochas, like Travis's, you know, like it's nothing now, but that's my favorite shoe. I have not whipped it out of I haven't even taken it out of the box. I haven't whipped it out. Like, I think I'm going to pull it out tomorrow because we're going to LA. But that was big for me. That trainer was big for me.
I was about to ask, like, that trainer, it has to be on a special occasion.
Yeah.
And you just said LA, but what's so big about the LA trip? Or is it just, you know what, the timing is right? I've had him enough time in the closet. It's
so my girl's having a very, very, very big occasion tomorrow in LA, where she's gonna get to showcase her work. Like it's like a I guess like an art gallery created by artists, which is really cool. I know nothing about art, so I don't want to sound like, you know, ignorant right now if I keep talking about it, but it's like a big break for her. Like, she's having a big moment in her career. And so I'm taking some time from the shoe game right now to go out there tomorrow and celebrate with her, but that's also awesome. Just like flex a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's awesome.
I got to pull them out for her.
And I would assume there's going to be loads of big people out there, you know, big names. You know, you never know when you can make a connection. And I think showing yourself, being presentable, knowing the occasion, because if I'm going to do a meetup at the gas station, I'm not, bro. I'm going in sweats. I'm going
straight slides. In runners, my busted ass runners green gloves.
Slides. Yeah. But I'm going to a function like that. You got to look presentable. You never know who you're going to run into.
Totally.
So.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. What about you?
What my top 3?
Yeah.
So I don't think I have a top 3. I go more by comfort. I'm really into Yeezys, like big time.
Interesting. Okay.
Of course, I love Jordan 4s, but I'm all about comfort. If I can be in sweats and a cozy runners, or some slides, or some 350s, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm fine. But if it's a big occasion, like a family event, or if I'm going out, and usually I don't go out that much, but if I'm traveling or something, then I'm going to take, I'm going to try to take a good fit.
Yeah, you're going to pull something out.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think Dunks, obviously the Off-Whites.
Oh, yeah.
The Lots. I like them a lot. I like the Lots.
Me too.
And then runners are up there for me. And then I would say 350s just because of how comfortable they are. Yeah. Even the 700s. To me, 700s are comfortable.
I love that.
But I'm not a retro type of guy. You know, I know a lot of people that like the throwback shoes. I'm not really big on the throwback shoes. I know a lot of people are, so I'm not going to, brush off those shoes. But I'm not a retro type of person. I'm not even that old with in terms of the sneaker world. I'm kind of new to it. So. Of course. The newer stuff to me catches my eye, and that's really how I am. If I like how it goes with my outfits, if I think that they're comfortable, then that's me. That's what I go based off of. But I'm with you on that. I don't like to keep too many for the toe, because when you're trying to grow, you need that revenue, counts, you need that money to work with. So holding on to them, that's a big thing as well. Whoever's watching this, huge.
And I don't know if you experienced this in the beginning, but like in the beginning, bro, I wanted to keep everything. It was so hard. Now I'm like, what? Like, even if like my family members like, I want that, I'm like, why the fuck are you gonna keep that? Like,
that's a waste of money. That's a waste of money.
We always see that. Just let that go. But that took like a year of me just like of seeing a million shoes where I was like, finally like, bro, shoes come and go. Build your business, build your brand. You know what I mean?
That's growth though. I think
it takes a while. It feels like growth. You're never gonna get there, because like, how many resellers do you see that? And I hate this. Tell us about. Their entire feed is their personals that are not for sale. Like, bro, we don't care, first of all. And second of all, like, bro, you're not, like, your clients are going to be like, motherfucker, what the hell? Like, what is for sale? Like, I'm here to buy something, right? So I think I have one pair of personals on my page, and I was gifted a pair of Friends and Family Air Forces that, I mean, like, literally, it's just, like, an unbelievable pair. That's the only pair. And I posted it to, like, show tribute. But, like, the reseller that literally keeps everything, or they're, like, they want over DS market on a used pair because they're, like, it's for personal.
Would you say that's a pet peeve?
Bro,
that's a pet peeve.
Out of here. Like, I'm running a business. I don't got time for that shit. Like, I don't even respond to that anymore, by the way. I'm just, like.
How do you go about with, if someone says... Well, not directed towards you, but I think this is gonna be funny. This is a pet peeve to me.
We should make a whole episode on pet peeves.
Pet peeves, reselling. Yeah, we're gonna make an episode of what are the top 10 pet peeves in the resale world.
What's the dumbest you ever heard?
This is one of mine. Okay, this is one of mine. I don't even know if I can spit it out right now, but let's say they post a shoe up at 280. 280, or I keep. Like a threat.
Bro, keep it. 280 or for the love of God, just fucking keep it.
But just like, how are you gonna threaten me like that? 280 or I keep. In my head, I'm just like, keep it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna run the deal.
It's not a selling tactic.
I don't think it is. I really don't think it is.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm just like, who taught you that and why? Like, why, bro? We like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta be like business. You gotta like take that brand. That's the thing, is a lot of people are so immature on Instagram, and they're just like, bro, 280 or I keep. First of all, you over DS market right now in a used fucking pair. Keep that shit. Second of all, like, bro, and that is the person that when you slide up and you're like, will you take 250? They're like negotiating to the death because they want it and need it gone. Like, bro, then why say 280 or a keep?
I don't know. There's so many different things in the reselling world that I see, but I just don't say anything. I'm just like, all right,
Me either.
I gotta move on.
God.
Gotta move on.
I just mind my business, but I'm like, that's fucked up. That ain't gonna go well for you.
Anyways, though, I like how you said whatnot.
Yeah,
it slipped out. And obviously,
it's always on my mind.
It slipped out for a reason. The platform, I think you started taking over it completely.
Frank,
I think you already surpassed the followers on your whatnot from your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
How did that transition?
Frank, it's explosive. So it's funny because this is another thing that I got from Austin where like sometimes, Frank, you just need like the right person that's in like that you look up to maybe at that time, or like a buddy to do something for you to be like, you know what, I'm going to get out there. And like the thing is, Frankie, that we sold insurance when the pandemic happened. We transitioned to Zoom. And so for me as a millennial, Zoom was something that I could grasp because I understand the speed of social media and I understand the speed of marketing and like the fact that we have a free world. Like, bro, you realize that back then, like, people couldn't even like, you had to go to the library.
We have all the tools.
It takes me 1 second to find any kind of information on my phone. My phone is my biggest asset. Like, and there's a lot of people that might argue with that, and there's a lot of people that don't think social media is life. And like, bro, I'm not saying social media is life. I'm just saying get with the fucking wave or move out of the way, because this, like, the internet is huge. This is why I relate so much to Gary Vee, because on my mind, I'm like, yo, the internet's fucking crazy. We're so lucky, right? Whereas other people are like, you need to take a second to like get off of your phone. I'm like, bro, the fuck? Like, I'm picking up so much game in seconds on the internet. Like, why would I? Bro, like, if I had a kid right now, this is why I don't have a kid, actually, because I don't think me and my girl would see. Like, hopefully I get married with her, right? But I don't think we'd ever see eye to eye on this. Like, bro, I'm going to give my kid their phone so fucking fast. Not because I want them glued to that phone, but because I want them to learn so fucking much so quickly. And that's the power of the internet, right? So when I look at Whatnot, so we sold insurance. Let me go back for a second. We sold insurance. When the pandemic happened, we didn't stop because we're like a warrior company, right? So when happens like the pandemic, you have wartime leaders and peacetime leaders, right? And I consider myself a wartime leader. Like, when shit was crazy, my is in the front. Like, yo, let's ride. Whereas a lot of people, they just like, they're only good when things are good. When things are bad, they lose everything, right? You ever hear those stories? Because they're peacetime leaders. They're only good when things are good, right? So when you think about a wartime leader, and like, I hope I leave you with this, if you picked up nothing else, like the wartime leader thing for me, when I picked it up and when I picked up that game in my insurance company, I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like,
game changer. Yeah.
Like, bro, you ever hear that thing where it says like weak times create like weak leaders, and weak leaders create bad times, and bad times, and it's just like a whole full circle moment. Like, you get comfortable when things are good, right? But when things are bad, you're just like, oh my God, what do I do? Because you've never been through bad shit. So when I look at the wartime leadership, like when we started going live, we started doing things on Zoom, I was like, holy fuck, how am I going to do this? But I was like, you know what? My broker was like, Val, don't wait for anybody else. Just go. You do everything that you have to do.
You just have to try it. You have to try it, not be afraid. Like the podcast now.
Exactly.
We're just trying it.
Thank you. Right. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
exactly.
We don't know.
So I actually had my biggest month in insurance history during the pandemic. And I didn't have just my biggest month. I was second in the company of over 15,000 fucking agents. I've never been second to anything, let alone first. I was first in my division and second in the company, which was big for me because I needed that moment.
Big time. That's big time.
I needed to have that moment. So when I saw like Austin, remember I was consigning at a store, when I saw him and his other owner, his co-owner, going live, I was like, this is PHP, right? That was the company I worked for. I'm like, this is PHP like on steroids, bro. Like, what the fuck? It's social media meets eBay. It's a social platform that I can sell on. There's 100% sale on absolutely everything. There's no more sitting. Frank, I rinse and repeat like, motherfucker, this. I buy something. If you don't, I literally tell my Instagram now, I'm like, if you don't buy this, it's gone in the next 3 hours. It is. Stop trying to negotiate with me. I'm gonna get the high on Whatnot. And if I don't, at least I had fun doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna waste my time going back and forth with you over $10 anymore. If you don't buy it here, buy it on Whatnot.
No, and this is the big thing. How I view you on the platform, right? You're basically using your strengths. Like, you're good on camera. Yeah. You're good talking to the people.
Yeah.
So being able to do that openly live, That's why I think you spend hours on it.
Oh, 100%.
I'm like, where did Val go?
I'm having so much fun on it.
It's 1 a.m. and it's like, I'm packaging boxes. I just hopped off the Whatnot. Like, what time did you start, Val? 7 p.m. I'm just like, damn, you spent hours on the Whatnot.
Yeah.
But you're having fun doing it. So it's not even like you're working. You're just having fun.
And it's explosive. Like, bro, like I could spend, you know, and I'm getting instant payout, which I'm not saying this, not everybody gets instant payout, just so you know. Like, I'm not telling anybody to go get recruited and Whatnot and ask for instant payout. Like, no, bro, that came with time, right? But I get instant payout. So think about it like this. I go live, I sell 75 shoes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not getting the max profit for these shoes ever, right? Like, it's just, maybe sometimes someone's excited, I get over market, they're trying to show love, they're trying to bless, whatever. But like, if you really take retrospect, like, of the profits, like, they're not max, and also they're unpredictable, right? Like, I might get like 150 on one of those rose golds, and then the next round I get $98. Like, fucked up, right? So I got to take the average of that. Yeah. But Frankie, I'll sell $20,000 with it tomorrow or today, because I went live last night. I got to spend that $20,000, right? I'm gonna go live in a few hours, and I'm gonna cycle that $20,000 again. Think about how fast that $20,000 turned into $100,000.
That's big time, and that's something that I think everyone has to understand. Because if you're sitting on 20 pairs, right, and you're looking for $20 on each,
don't piss me off right now, because this is my biggest pet peeve. That people hold a fucking shoe over $10 or $20. Like, bro, let me give you perspective. If you buy that shit and you can, look, bro, you can offer it to somebody and make $10, and go buy another shoe today and make another 30, or you can hold for 4 fucking days to make the same $20. Like, bro, you make more money offing it, letting go. Stop thinking that you deserve or that you know it's worth this, and shut the fuck up. Move it and go. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
You can sell that shoe and use that money 7 times before you would have sold it for your bin price. Why the fuck are you holding? You know why you're holding? Because you're so fucking, you are in a scarcity mindset, thinking that you can't go find another shoe to buy. Bro, get off your ass tomorrow morning and go buy another shoe. That's the hard part for people, is they think that, bro, shoes are unlimited. I buy 100 clip in a day in my sleep. I'm telling you right now. When I get off of this podcast, and it is 12:30 here right now. When I get off of this podcast, I'm gonna buy 100 shoes between now and the time I go live, because I'm not scared.
That's the mindset.
Scared money doesn't make no money.
That's the mindset.
I'm gonna buy 100 shoes no matter what, because I know that the world is abundant and that there's people that want to sell to Val. I am a steel magnet. That's what I tell myself. Whereas other people are like, no, I need 320, and I'm like, bro, you won't take 310. Like, obviously my ego's like, I'm winning this. Like, you won't take 310, and they're like, no, I need 320. I'm like, then keep your 320, bro. You would have been sold that, made those $30, use that 320 to buy another 2 shoes from your buddy, and made another 100. But because you're thinking about $10, you missed out on a world of connections in business.
It's huge. And one of the reasons I would assume, you know, people trust your word, because you're payment ready. That's a big part of buying. If you're money ready and you're easy to work with, throw me these shoes, throw me this list. Even when we work out deals,
how easy is it?
You send me 6-7 pairs you might slide up on, whatever the clip might be. But you send your price. If we negotiate, we negotiate.
I take it.
And if we don't, we just pass on it. But boom, the deal's done, payment sent, and it's that easy.
And I always say, like, bro, if you'll meet me on some, I'm gonna meet you on some, and then we both eat. Why the fuck I'm gonna, bro? Don't get me started. I don't understand the max profit. And I actually picked this up from Gav, because I think Gav does this a lot too when I watch his YouTube videos and stuff. I notice that he'll be like, I'm just going to keep it pushing. Like, and don't get me wrong, he's got a really good following, so he could be kind of firm, but he's not like trying to get $150 off this shoe. Like, bro, he knows he got it for $30. He's going to offer it on his Instagram for $70. He's going to keep it pushing. Whereas like other resellers might be like, well, it's $150 shoe. Like, bro.
No, big shout out to Gav, because he's one of the resellers, including you, that me and my brother look up to, just because of the way that he makes things move. He makes things flow. He could be very stingy and say, I got this shoe for 80 and I'm going to sell it for 300.
Right.
Like some resellers would. Right. But no, he'll put that up at 119. Still, he moves it fast and he moves on. Like, he's flowing through pairs. And I think that's big time in terms of the resale world.
Yeah. Rinsing and repeating is the most important thing. I will never agree with someone holding. And honestly, it's gotten to a point where I'm like, yo, if you're really going to hold over $10 right now, I'm going to let you keep that shit. And you're going to beg me later to take it for the price I wanted, and I won't take it for the price I wanted.
You probably won't do business again.
Yeah, oh my God.
Probably won't do business again.
Bro, I can't tell you how many resellers I've unfollowed. Not because it was anything personal, because I'm like, yo, I got to move. I'm running a fucking business and you're running a fucking playground. I can't work with you. I can't make any money with you. We can't split bread because you're thinking about you and you're not thinking about nobody else.
Sometimes it's for a hobby. And sometimes it's for a business.
And
if you're doing
fine.
it as a business, you got to treat it as business. If you're doing it as a hobby and you want to hold on to the shoe, that's fine. But it's going to be difficult to close out deals because you're doing it as a business. You're moving pairs every day. You're buying pairs every day. So I think you just don't have the time to deal with that kind of stuff, which is understandable. You're not going to deal with $10. Sit in that message. I'm negotiating for 10. No, I don't think you can do that.
It's so easy. Like, I'm payment ready, right? You know I'm not going to ever rob you. I am that bitch that will be like, yo, Frank, I think I stole $100 from you. And you'll be like, how? And I'll be like, well, look at this shoe. We accidentally put it in at 70. It was actually 170. Ask my friends how many times I've done this for people. I've accidentally stolen from Joe, where I was like, Joe, I think I robbed you like $300. He's like, oh, fuck. I'm like, let me send this to you right now. Laced by Chris, which is my really good buddy. I'll be like, yo, I think I robbed you for this shoe. And he's like, shit, yeah, you did. And I'm like, let me pay you for this now. So I always go back. And the opposite is true. Like, bro, like, I value that, and I think people value that, right? So I'm always honest. I'm payment ready. I'm not going to give you a hard time over $10. Like, if you meet me on 1, I'm going to meet you on 3 because I'm that way. I just want to know that you got me and that you're not just thinking about yourself, right? And the other thing is just like, again, like, you're safe with me. You could pull up to my house at midnight and know that we're good. I got you, you got me. Whereas other people like, and Gav said this one time and it resonated with me a lot. He posted it. He's like, yo, y'all get scammed trying to get an extra $10. Y'all get scammed on Cash App. Y'all get robbed in person. Go do business with people you trust, even if you're losing $10. No. Just go do business with people you trust. And a lot of people can't grasp that. They can't. It's just like, I can't agree with it. I can't relate to it. And I mean, you know, you gotta like figure it out. Like, which side are you playing? And you said an important thing where you said like some people treat it like a hobby and some people like treat it like a business. A hobby will pay you like a hobby. Tell me a fucking hobby that pays you. Tell me.
0.
Thank you. A hobby will pay you like hobby.
0.
And that's the reality. And it's okay for you to do something part-time, but you got to switch this narrative of being like, yo, I'm doing this as a hobby. No, you're doing this as a side thing, which is great. Most of America is doing a side business, but taking that and saying, I'm going to do a side business and taking that side business seriously and putting systems in place to say like, yo, this is how I'm going to run a business. Otherwise, you are literally running a hobby. I don't look at you like a business owner, nor do I look at you like a competition. There's very few competition in my eyes right now in like the reselling world. And that's me being just real. Like, it's me being raw and real. Like a lot of these resellers, I'm like, I'm not doing business with you again. 1, 2, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, and then they have the nerve to like go and they want to ask you questions, but they don't want to take the advice.
Yeah, no.
Why are you asking questions?
It's difficult to understand, but there is a lot of younger people.
That is true.
There's a lot of
I'll
younger
give you
people,
that.
and it's hard.
Unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Hard to do business with them. Hard to get them to understand. They're pretty annoying, but the younger ones that hold it down, like Johnny Shop, Sauce Kicks.
Well, Gav is very young.
Gav is
Johnny
young.
Shop is amazing.
All of those guys.
Johnny's honest. He fucks up and he makes it right. He's easy to work with. Johnny don't be holding over $10. Let me tell you right now.
But those younger people that you know,
those are
that
I
know,
admire.
You continue to do business. We continue to.
And I look up to them.
Why is their name even in the conversation now?
I wish I was Johnny's fucking age. I wish I was Gav's age.
Oh, being able to go back and do it all from there.
6 years ago, I'd be rich right now. So I do. You're right. Like, Gav was a person that I looked up to a lot when I first started. So all those things, and I can say that again, like humbly as fuck. Like, yo, all these people, like, they shaped the way. They paved the road for us, right? And even though they're young, they're great. But there's also the opposite. Like, you have these like head kids that just like they don't get it. They don't want to get it, and they waste time and
you
they
just
lose
don't waste
connections.
Your time with that. I don't think you waste your time with that. You just move forward.
Not anymore.
The people that hit you, that are young and are ready to do business,
like business savvy, like sometimes I'll be like, how old are you?
You can see it.
Like 15, I'm like, holy fuck.
You see it in them. You see it in them, and it's very easy to tell 3-4 years down the line. It's like they're gonna be.
You're not surprised by their success.
It doesn't have to be the reselling world. It could be anything. But the personality and the way that they carry themselves, the way that they establish their business, the way that they run their business, you can just tell. It doesn't matter what they do, but they're gonna be successful somehow, some way. Because I remember being younger, and everyone would tell me, "Oh, you're gonna do something big one day. You're gonna do something big one day." I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do big one day. I don't even know if this is gonna be big one day. But anything that I do, I don't half-ass it. Like with the podcast, it took so long to prepare. Shout out the homie Chris for helping with this.
Yeah,
but
Chris, you're amazing. Thank you.
We put in the time to establish this, get down to every angle, the details, the lighting, everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything. So,
and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this like chapter of your life, and you taking your brand to another level. And I think like this is like my whatnot, for example. Like it's exposure to my brand, if nothing else. Even though I'm not, let's just say like, you know. And I have had like, bro, I've had some big fucking nights. Like people wouldn't believe me if I told you the number. But I've also had some bad nights, right? But whatnot is my like, I'm getting my brand awareness out there. You will know Val. My dad has become a character. As if it was like Sims on Whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a character of Whatnot. Bella's a character of Whatnot. My girl's becoming a character of Whatnot. And so like that's for dope. You, like you understanding this social media era and like how far this, like, bro, people are going to fuck with you after this. Like they're going to want to do business with you. There's going to be people that are going to be salty, but who gives a fuck? Like you can't make everybody happy. But like if you can allow me to be myself, I'll allow you to be yourself, and then we can work together still.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
You don't ever change the way you are to try to do business. Right. I would say just keep it 100%. Like
yeah,
if I'm not if that's not me and that's not the deal that I want to run, I'm not going to run it. And some people will unfollow you, or they'll say, you know what, fuck this guy, we're not running business. But it's not that. It's just you got to understand the way that you sell a shoe and what you sell it for. Only you know that. Yeah. Right? Like you know what you price it at, whether it's tax, whether it's a steal. But some people will get offended with your offers, but you just got to move. Like you got to move.
Frank.
Yeah, you just got to move on. Like I get lowballed.
Me too. Oh my God.
And I might not respond, or sometimes I might just say pass.
Sometimes I laugh and I'm like, you know, I feel like I've done my job the last 2 years to be like, yo, you're shopping for authenticity. You're guaranteed a lot of things with me. I'm not taking that price. Like sometimes I'll be salty and I'll be like, fuck you, bro, that is low. But I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't take it personal anymore. I used to take it personal, but you know why you know why people take lowballs personal? Because they know they didn't do the fucking work behind that.
Exactly.
The only time I take something personal is when I know I didn't earn it. Now, I'm like, yo, Frank, I appreciate the offer. It's a little low for me. I know I'm going to get better somewhere else, but thank you. You know why I can say that? Because I know I fucking deserve this $350. I earned the $350. You're shopping for authenticity. You're shopping for my brand. You get customer service. You get a lot of shit when you shop with me.
It's not just the selling. It's everything behind it.
Yeah.
But even how the way that you bought it, the person that you had to negotiate with.
I had to fucking authenticate it.
Everything.
I probably had to fucking fight some other kid for it. Like, but I earned it, right? So now I know I can be firm. Like before, when I would get offended, it's because I wasn't doing the work. 100%. I was just getting these like, you know, handouts almost. And so I would be like, what do you mean $250? They're priced for $320. Now I'm like, oh, it's cool, bro. Like I appreciate the offer, but I can't do that. My brand is going to get me $320, right? I earned that. So it's like trial and error, you know?
No, I couldn't agree more with that. Every day, you know, you live and you learn. This is one of those things where get out of your comfort zone. The podcast, right? Getting out of your comfort zone, like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, it's difficult because you don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know if it's going to be success, a failure. But if you're having fun doing it, like right now we're having a genuine conversation. People can judge this conversation. They could say whatever they want from the conversation. At the end of the day, it's just our thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, it's me and you having a conversation. Everything's opinion based.
Yeah.
If their opinions are different, their opinions are different. But that doesn't change the fact that we're on here, we're having fun with it, and we're just having a conversation.
Totally.
True, genuine conversation. So I guess to kind of start wrapping things up.
Yeah.
Where do you see your business 5 years down the line? Or where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? What are your goals? Or is it something that you're just, okay, I'm kind of living by the year.
Wow,
we'll take it down. Or is it something that you're like, you know what? 5 years down the line, this is who I want to be. And it might not even be the reselling world, but this is who I want to be. I want to be a store owner. I want to be this. What crosses your mind? Because as a reseller and as a business person, there always has to be thoughts that race your mind.
Totally.
And you're thinking constantly, I want to do this. I want to do this. This is who I want to be 2-3 years down the line. But let's give it like a 5-year gap. Who do you think you want to be? Where do you see yourself? Or where do you want to be along the line?
So Frank, I hate to do this, but 5 years is a short amount of time for me. I look at things as 10-year runs and 20-year runs, right? So my 20-year run goal is like doing everything I'm going to do for Val, and then I'm going to spend another 20-year give it back to the community, and then I'm going to spend my last 20 years giving to, you know, everything else I want to do in the world, which is like way later down the road, like, you know, foundations and all kinds of shit. Right? So when I look at things as a 20-year gap, I look at things as a 20-year gap because I know what it takes to be great, and not necessarily what I know what it takes. I just have seen what it takes, right? And as I look at other people, I'm like, yo, you are not shit. You're not going to be shit in 5 years. It's going to take you a long time to get to where you want to be because I want to get to Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah.
I want to be that guy, remember? So when I look at that, 5 years for me is a very small amount of time. I predict that in 5 years we'll be forced into a store. We got 1,000 shoes in inventory right now.
That's a lot. That's
90 days ago, I had 300 shoes in inventory.
That's crazy.
We didn't get any kind of fund outside of the world to be put in. What I'm saying is, like, I didn't get a magical, like, outside, like, investor or anything, which I wish I had. But right now, we took $40,000 to $120,000 in 90 days.
Like
and I
they
say that,
from the mud up. That's
right.
It.
And I say that to say, like, I think we're going to be forced into a storefront because I think people need to be able to shop, like, and I need to be able to showcase my product, right? So I think that's in the works and it's written in the stars. And we want to do a speakeasy behind that storefront with, like, our childhood food. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but I just, like, I'm giving you the vision of the shoe game. Have you seen Ama Munir in Memorial?
Yes.
They have a little, like, you know, I think it's called We All Eat or something in the background, like where you walk in and you get waffles and chicken and shit. I fuck with that. We want to do our version of it in Vegas. Another thing I predict for the shoe game is, like, we're gonna build a massive team of, like, badasses, and that's something that for me, bro, like, I want to work with people and I want to be in a team, and I want to be a leader amongst leaders, like, where you look at my team and you're like, who's the fucking leader? Because everybody's a fucking goat or everybody's, like, strong, you know?
If I saw a team of the shoe
Vals.
game co, if I saw a team of Vals, I'm running away. I'm like, nah, I'm not fucking with them.
So
that's strong character there.
You know, like, and also, like, Frankie, for me, like, bro, like, my CEO used to say, like, getting yourself to $1 million is one thing, but teaching somebody else to make $1 million, that's a whole nother world. So, like, I want to be a leader and build a leader, right? So, like, I take a lot of pride in, like, pulling people up with me. So you push and you pull, you push and you pull, and you come up together, right? So we all eat, right? Or my girlfriend always says we should all eat, which is a better term because we don't all eat. We should all eat, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when it doesn't go your way, if you're one of those people that doesn't push and pull, you're stuck on your own.
Yeah,
like you're in a hole and you can't get out.
Nobody's gonna look out for you.
No one will look out for
you. Nobody else, right? So a lot of it, like, I've always understood, like, bro, I'm gonna pay things forward until eventually I catch my break. I'm gonna help this person and that person. I'm gonna be kind and I'm not gonna expect anything in return, and I'm not gonna do anything with malicious intent. And, like, someday somebody's gonna look out for me, right? So a lot of this is, like, again, like, building an army. Right? I know I'm gonna have a storefront. It's inevitable. I want to be the face of Whatnot. I know that sounds crazy, but the company,
you will.
I believe, like, bro, my CEO always used to say, like, don't ever try to get into a company that's already established because you're replaceable. eBay's established. They're a great company, don't get me wrong, but they're established. I'm nobody to eBay. I will never be, like, we're not there anymore. eBay's not in its growing stages. It's in its established stages, right? So when I look at Whatnot as being a brand new company, really, like, the sneaker world is kind of new in Whatnot. And only 2% of the world shops virtually right now, like that, like live auctions. So we're predicted to get to, like, 20%. We're only at 2%. If I'm making the money I'm making right now at 2%, imagine 20%, right? So when I look at these things, I'm like, what if I could push this company up? Could I be part of this company? Could I own a piece of this company? So that's like in the back of my mind. I'm always like, how can I own a piece of Whatnot? How can I push Whatnot forward? That's something for me, right? IG is not a platform where you can, where it's somewhere where I have no fees, but it's also just like a platform. If IG shuts down tomorrow, who is 44 Hype and who is Val?
100%.
Right? So it's building my brand on eventually YouTube, eventually TikTok, right? All these things, right? But I want to be the face of Whatnot. And I say that humbly in the sense that, like, I want to make that company so fucking big, it has to bring me to the table. That's something that I don't even know if I've ever said to Gabe, which is somebody who I work with and Whatnot. I don't know if they might see this one day, be like, what the fuck, this girl's really trying to grind for us. But, like, I'm somebody that, like, if you would just look out, like, and not ever cross my values, morals, and principles, I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna always push you forward until I make it, right? Like, I mean, like, in the sense of, like, I know I'm gonna get my break, Frank. Like, I know I am, because I know I'm doing everything with good intent. So I'm going to push this company forward because it's my way of saying thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for my family right now. Thank you for taking my 40,000 to 120,000 and changing my, that is like, I need you to understand, I'm an immigrant. No, bro, I have nothing. I don't have a college degree. This is life-changing money for me. Right? So that's something that, like, I'm looking at heavy right now, Frank, where I'm like, how can I be the face of Whatnot? And how can I make this company get respect in the marketplace? and be bigger than it's ever even dreamed of being. They don't know that.
I just
like, I'm just crazy behind the scenes, you know?
I'm a firm believer that hard work with a little bit of intelligence behind it
trumps everything.
Pays off, because they say hard work pays off, but you can continue to work hard. You can continue to work hard, but it never pays off. But you have to add a little bit of that intelligence, and I think you have the full package to it. So to me, there's no doubt. Maybe 2-3 years down the line, it's like,
gonna take some time.
Val is the general manager of whatnot, or whatever the case might be. But a couple years down the line, I know you're gonna be someone big, so I don't even doubt it. Right? Yeah. Like, what was it, a few months back when we first started doing business with you? Maybe it's close to a year now.
Yeah.
But when we first started doing business, I was like, man, the energy she brings, the authenticity that she brings, not just with herself, but with her team. It's like, man, she's carrying some, like, people behind her back, and she's doing it genuinely. So that to me stood out. And I told my brother, I was like, man, we're going to continue to do business because of how authentic she is.
Right.
She's straight to the point. If the numbers don't match, we don't run it.
Right.
If she's not happy with it, she'll be straight honest, be like, nope, we can't do this. But I wish you all the best of luck with your future goals and the plans that you have going forward. I know that you're going to accomplish them. Like, I don't have a doubt. I don't have a doubt.
It's mutual, Frank, and just know, like, the shoe game will always stand behind 44 Hype, and we're looking forward to, like, seeing you grow. And I always say, like, if somebody passes me up and they earned it, like, that shit is fire to me, and I'm always gonna, like, I'm gonna push you up, and I'm gonna push you forward, and, like, I'm always gonna talk about how great the business is, and you know, like, give credit where it's due. So I'm really proud of you. I think you grew faster than we did when you started to now, like, if I look at numbers. And I'm not at all surprised, just because of the people, like, driving behind the brand and pushing the brand forward. So I'm really proud of you too.
No, I appreciate it, Val. Well, we'll pretty much wrap it up there. Again, thank you to Val, also known as the Shoe Game Co, for coming out to the first ever 44 Hype podcast. Couldn't be more excited than ever to have her out here. It's the first ever episode, so you don't know what to expect, right? But having her out here, hopefully you gain some insight on it. And Val, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy ass schedule to come out here. We know you're up and down all over the city, closing deals out, hopping on whatnot. So thank you for taking that time out and coming out here. So
and thank you so much for choosing the Shoe Game to be the first person on our podcast. And we wish you all the success. And thank you for giving me time as well out of your busy schedule. So I appreciate it. I hope people got some value, and I hope they'll take it with, like, a grain of salt and do something with it, because information without action just, like, is nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Not
so
valuable
hopefully they
at all.
act on it.
Yeah. Well, much love, Val. Truly appreciate that.
You sure. Thanks so much.